watching Day or Night X. X is for exotics. And on this episode, the Tarantula Cloud, which has been a series that's been going for quite a while. I took a huge break from this one, and it's a little bit different than some of the other videos that I make because it's called the Tarantula Cloud for a reason. And a cloud, it can be big, it can be small, it's all shapes and forms. That's why I call it the Tarantula Cloud, because a cloud can be all different shapes and forms, and it really doesn't conform to anything, and it is what it is to whoever sees it. Like that, Tarantula Cloud has always been just a raw video footage of a lot of different things going on. Essential, a vlog, a tarantula vlog, but with a little bit of unique flair to it because it's my shit, you know. So it's just kind of how I want to do stuff. It's not about, you know, trying to conform to like a format or anything. So hope you guys enjoy this new look Tarantula Cloud, and I'll just keep these going as usual. Maybe get about one a month. I'm not going to overdo these. It is what it is with this one, so let's just go ahead and check it out. If you're a tarantula keeper, you don't like Brachypelmas, I personally wouldn't understand that. They're my favorite genus in the hobby. Outside that and the Poecilotherias. I love Poecilotherias and Brachypelmas the exact same, which is why I'm giving you a bonus footage of one of my favorite Poecilotherias, and I'm currently trying to rebuild my Poecilotheria collection. I had a lot of mature male deaths, and this girl here, the Poecilotheria striata, she is an awesome tarantula. She's hit and miss with feedings, but in this one she doesn't disappoint. This is how they do it in the wild. First up, a little bonus footage. Since this is a Brachypelma based video, thought I would add in another one of my favorite tarantula species, which is the Poecilotheria striata, the Mysore ornamental. This is a female specimen. Her name is Phantom, and she is one of my favorite tarantulas in my collection for no other reason than she's actually one of my oldest tarantulas in my collection. Now, even though I didn't get her as early as some of my other tarantulas in my collection, she has just kind of, you know, outlived all my other Poecilotheria species, and a lot of my other tarantulas that I had gotten before her have all matured out or died or passed away or whatever, got put into breeding programs. So she's actually one of my older tarantulas now, just based on that. One of the things I love about Poecilotherias, and I like keeping my Poecilotherias in glass tanks. They just seem to do better for me than in plastic. That's just me. Remember, everything I say is always just advice, stuff that I do on my part that works for me. But what I like about these glass tanks is that you actually get to see stuff like this, stuff that would kind of mimic what would happen in the wild if you just toss a worm in there. Feeding a boreal species is not always as easy as feeding a terrestrial, and if you have different specimens like that in your collection, you know that to be true. How she was positioned on the glass made it very difficult to just drop a worm in there. If she was to get out, she's extremely fast, so I had to be very, very careful with that. In the Tarantula Cloud, I'll show you everything. So one of the things I have to update you on is my little Brachypelma albiceps, who had that very bad molt, and I had to amputate 6 of his legs. He was doing well eating. Now it seems to be regressing a little bit. It's kind of off feeding. It's very lethargic. It seems very exhausted, and so I decided to go ahead and reduce the size of the enclosure down to something a little smaller until she kind of gets back on her feet, so to speak. No pun intended. And you know, I really love her. She's a very sweet girl, and I hope she has a complete bounce back. Let's go ahead and take a look at her. Jupiter is a Brachypelma albiceps, the Mexican gold red rump. one of my favorite, if this is my second favorite Brachypelma species in the genus. The B. Emilia is my favorite, and I'll put a link in the description if you missed that tarantula spotlight I did on this one, when she had this very strange molt and I had to end up actually amputating 6 legs. She's been going through a lot, dealing with having only 2 legs. So this enclosure you see right here, this little cube enclosure, I'm gonna actually put her on that. She used to walk around this entire enclosure, but now she's starting to slow down a little bit. She's not moving around as much, and I noticed that she's starting to flip herself over a little bit more. And there's been a couple of times I looked in and I thought she was attempting to molt. She's been literally laying upside down. And what's happening there is she's getting herself in a position and she's flipping herself over, and she doesn't have the energy to continue to try to flip herself over. She's a very active tarantula. Before she lost those legs, she was everywhere. That's why I had a little bit more space for her in that enclosure. Now in here, this is going to provide her with the opportunity to be able to flip over whenever she wants, because with her leg span, most likely she's going to be able to move herself around and be able to use the glass, or excuse me, the plastic on this container to kind of just for leverage to push herself back over in case she gets flipped over on one side and she's unable to kind of roll herself over, which is what I figure is the problem. I think that's been agitating her quite a bit, and discouraging her from moving around as much, which is weakening her and making her a little bit more lethargic. Now that's just my opinion. That's what I'm observing with her, is that she's actually discouraging herself from walking around because she doesn't want to get flipped over. She doesn't want to have to work that hard. And you can imagine, this tea is very, very tough, having gone through all that. But not every time do you get a moltathon with one genus, and I had almost all my Brachypelmas molt within a couple of weeks of each other. It was really insane. I mean, just one after another after another. And I've been really fortunate to have suspect females and confirmed females with my Brachypelmas so far. And considering that's one of my favorite genus in the hobby, I can't, I mean, outside of my Poecilotherias, which are just male crazy, and I just get mature males and mature male, my Brachypelmas are a lot different. So let's go ahead and check out my Brachypelma collection and all the molts that I acquired here within the last couple weeks. We now enter the feeding portion and the molt portion of this video. All Brachypelmas from this point on, this is pretty much a Brachypelma video. This is Phoenix, a Brachypelma Emilia, the Mexican painted redleg. This is my personal favorite Brachypelma species in the genus. I just love this tarantula. I love the way they look, and freshly molted, you're gonna see how beautiful some of these Brachypelmas look freshly molted, and the appetite on these guys. Now almost all these guys have gone almost a couple weeks without eating after the molt. This one has gone almost a month without eating after she molted, and she is doing unbelievably well. She's starting to pick up her molts a lot faster. And sometimes tarantulas do that. They won't molt for over 2 years, and then all of a sudden they'll molt like 3 times in 8 months. So I'm really liking that. I'm really liking that with her. She's molting more regularly. This is Eclipse. She's a Brachypelma albopilosum, Honduran curly hair, and this is a fresh molt. She will not be fed in this. This is about 4 or 5 days after this molt, and I just did a video on her, a T Spotlight, and handling her for the first time. I'll put a link in the description below for you to watch out that Eclipse video. I kind of just made a theme out of it with solar eclipse that just happened in August in 2017. So if you haven't checked out that video, go down below and check it out. That's an awesome video. I think you'll like it. You got to see me handle her, and I even mentioned in the video I wasn't going to feed her because her rump was absolutely huge. That booty was huge, and there was no way I was going to feed her until she molted. And I knew it was around the corner, and she did. And you can see the difference in this tarantula. You saw how brown that molt was. People forget just how dark this tarantula can be when they're freshly molted. And she is absolutely gorgeous. It's just a beautiful tarantula. If you don't own a Honduran curly hair, you have got to own one. It is a must own. This is Fahrenheit. She's a Brachypelma boehmei. And this is the Mexican fireleg, and this is a fresh molt. This one here has been molted probably a little bit over a month,
but I haven't fed her. She is extremely greedy. They deserve the common name fire leg. Just look at those legs. She is literally on fire. It looks like a torch. She is beautiful. These are an amazing species of tarantula, and what's so incredible about it is their feeding response. Excellent feeding response, and they're just brilliant, beautiful animals, and they're worth the money. There's a reason why a lot of these Brachypelmas are worth so much money. I haven't completed my collection yet. I still would like to get an erratum, which is probably my third favorite in the genus, and I don't even own that species. I love the erratum. They're just unbelievable looking animals, the erratum. And if you look at the knees here on this animal and the carapace, how velvet black those legs are, the whole package is just so damn beautiful. It's just amazing. There's no way that this tarantula wouldn't make it in my top 10 of most beautiful tarantulas out there. It's just an amazing looking animal. It's so simple, but so beautiful. Next up is Arclight, Brachypelma hamorii, the Mexican red knee. And if you're a beginner, or if you've been in the hobby a while and you don't know, this is a renamed species. Used to be the smithy, and this one no doubt is a female, the most slow growing of my Brachypelmas, and this one and the albiceps. Got this one as a 1/2 inch. Look at the feeding response. Just another thing I love about Brachypelmas, their feeding responses are insanely fun to watch. They're so fun to feed, especially I always try to get a feeding in where I can feed all of them in the same day if I can, because it's just so much damn fun to watch them just take down their food one after another, and their attacks are just relentless, beautiful, picture perfect attacks from a tarantula. When you think of a tarantula attack, I always, get a Brachypelma out and feed it to impress someone. They won't let you down. This is a beautiful species, just like the boehmei. I mean, these Brachypelmas are all over the place as far as palate wise. And here's Fire, Brachypelma vagans, the Mexican red rump. And this one is, I'm pretty sure, gonna molt probably in the next 4 to 6 months. Give or take a month or two. I guess you would throw that in there. She's not looking all that impressive right now, but the diversity in the genus, this is a prime example. I mean, look at this animal and then look at the boehmei. Look at this animal, look at the albiceps. I mean, look at the differences there. This one almost looks like an LP. And that's what I like about the vagans. I mean, you get so many different color palettes in this genus, and when you line them up together in a feeding video or something like this, and you get to see all those subtle differences between each one. Most of them are obviously from Mexico, hence the common names Mexican this, Mexican that. But then you throw in the Honduran, curly hair. It's just the classifications of this genus and the species that are in it. It's a beautiful genus, so much fun to collect these guys, and that's why I love the Poecilotherias. They're so closely related visually, but they're so diverse, visually, and I absolutely love that. The Brachypelma genus is a beautiful, beautiful genus.
Hope you enjoyed this edition of the Tarantula Cloud. If you're new to Day or Night X, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like and comment below if you like this video, because it helps a lot. Thanks for all the support. Thank you for all my subscribers and the people who just have been, with me from the start. I really appreciate that. And all you newcomers, like I said, subscribe. You enjoy the ride, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Be you and be genuine. See you inside the next cloud. Take care.